I'm having the maddest cookies. Oh, muffins. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my channel. I've been getting hit with my YouTube algorithm with these new videos that have just popped up. And it's like basketball breakdowns. And I remember Kobe Bryant doing them. I watch those as well. Kobe Bryant doing them of just really how they break down basketball. Them. And why would you not watch this if you like the sport? So I'm going to go in here. Pardon my slowness. So this one is Thinking Basketball, how LeBron's longevity fueled his rise. We're going to get into this. I'm going to turn the quality right up. Kidding. There it goes, 720. Let's go.
LeBron James is the new all-time scoring king, taking the title from Kareem, who held it for nearly 40 years thanks to that incomparable sky hook. LeBron's never had a signature move like that, but he's found a way to consistently dominate by adding different layers to his game. When he entered the league as an 18-year-old, he was an athletic marvel, 6'8" and 240 pounds with a blazing first step and a preternatural feel for how to play the game. And for 19 consecutive seasons, LeBron's averaged at least 25 points per game on better than average true shooting, morphing and evolving as a player while the league radically changed around him. To really understand his longevity as a scorer, let's look at LeBron's 25 points per game on better than average true shooting, morphing and evolving as a player while the league radically changed around him. To really understand his longevity as a scorer, let's look at LeBron's first 50-point game all the way back in 2005, the only 60-point game of his career in 2014, and finally his highest scoring game thus far in 2023, a 48-pointer against the Rockets. When he was young, James's combination of speed and size immediately made him a volume scorer. So even in his second season, teams were focused on stopping his penetration game. Jalen Rose doubles away from the ball here. Then he leaves so Chris Bosh can spy on LeBron. There's a third defender taking away the middle, so James goes.
I listened to this podcast. No fucking shit. I listened to this podcast. This is a complete tangent. The producer of the podcast is this guy named Ben, and he does like a podcast on history and how to take over the world. I think this is that guy. Crazy. Anyway, he's breaking down LeBron's like scoring. This isn't what I expected. This is kind of just the analytical like timeline of him so far. I was expecting like how he breaks it down, but at the moment, I'm pretty sure it's this guy Ben. At the moment, Ben is just talking about. I don't even know if the screen's on. Let me check.
Goes right and still finished.
Yeah. He's just talking about LeBron's height, size and height at the moment. I'll keep watching it and see what happens.
In traffic. 9 years later, there was a little more space on the floor to attack. 3 teammates are behind the arc, and Bosh is near the three-point line in the corner, so LeBron drives into a pocket to his right, and he's so strong and under control, he can immediately recover for a little putback. Compare that back to the spacing in 2005.
Everyone's crowding in.
This one is off a make, but...
So that's one thing you've got to learn too, is this guy changes his pace. He changes his pace all the time. It's not always just like go 100, go 100. And a lot of kids who are fast, all they want to do is go. If they understand that they can just bring their tempo down and choose when to go, man, these kids would be such different beasts.
But when LeBron crosses half
trying
court,
to teach them that
there's
so hard.
No one back in the lane yet, so he puts his head down and is still stronger than most forwards. And there aren't as many big shot blockers on the floor today to challenge his size at the basket. Also, most players would see a wall of defenders here, but the 20-year veteran knows this defender is going to slide middle, but this defender is sprinting out to the wing, so he cuts it back to the left where there won't be help. LeBron punished Houston by pushing the pace in this game.
There's a little gem there.
Where there won't be help.
Okay,
basket. Also, most players would see a wall of defenders here, but the
Yeah. So they know that's his man. He's gonna be the help. Christian Wood's gonna be the help. This guy should stay there, but instead he's trying to slide over to
20-year
7
veteran knows
to stop
this
7 because
defender is
that's his
going to
man.
slide middle, but this defender is
And so
sprinting
he
out to the
uses
wing,
the fact that
so
the
he
help
cuts it back
side
to the
is on
left
the
for
other
their
side.
The 2005 Cavs played at an even slower pace, which meant more half-court sets where multiple defenders could sit in LeBron's driving gaps, making it harder for him to penetrate. Of course, he was so gifted at 20 that he could attack set defenses with 3 big bodies near the rim. This defender's pulled way over to take away his right hand, so he just explodes left and draws free throws at the basket.
God
In
damn, what a
South
foul.
Beach, the spacing was a little better, but there were still bigger
You
bodies.
gotta keep in mind too, right? The coaching style was totally different here, and you can't expect it to be the same. You can't. Like, when he started 20 years ago, it was start from the inside and then kick out. Now it's outside in if they have to, and all they want to do is shoot the 3 now, and get transition buckets. No mid-range. It's either layup or 3 now. Where back then it was like only layups, and then if you had to, shoot a mid-range, and if you were desperate, shoot a 3.
He's roaming the paint.
So like, of
LeBron's
course, it's going to be a
cyborg
slow
athletic-
set.
Things out once I jumped in the air, I knew my first few years, I knew if I could take off, I was going to be up there a lot longer than you. You're just going to land before me. Then I'll figure it out after that.
A 38-year-old LeBron uses tempo and horizontal angles. Instead of exploding to the rim, he takes a huge stride right to hop back left and uses size to shield the ball and finish. When he was younger, it was more full speed ahead, take on all comers, and he lived at the free throw line. About 21% of the points in his entire career have come from the line, whereas today that number is closer to 15%. So you're more likely to see something crafty than a huge highlight dunk, blending his dribble into a soft floating bank shot. That one came after a cut, and LeBron's always had great feel as a cutter for when to dart into little openings. And this was on full display in that 61-point game against the Bobcats down in Miami.
Down.
Here's a play where he's away from the action, and he knows this middle pick and roll will cause his defender to...
Bigs at the free throw extensions are going to have to chop off Birdman diving to the rim if it's a soft screen. But he also has to pay like a hedge. Like nowadays, as soon as... Like, that's a shot for most guards now with Cole standing, where back then you weren't allowed to shoot that shit. That was bench. And if Kemba hesitated over all those screens, that's a shot again. So this defense would be completely different now, and that's what he's not accounting for, is like the coaching styles. But in saying that at this period, this is what a lot of older guys play now, because it's so fundamental. This is a box and 1, or is it a like 3-2 zone? It's a fake 3-2 zone. LeBron, because he's the main conversation of this topic, his man's gonna leave if Birdman slides, or if he's gonna have to help when that slip down.
It's over.
So these guys should have known that, especially the big. As soon as he hedged over to the slide, he should have checked back where LeBron was. But LeBron knows as soon as his head turns towards Birdman, boom, go.
Slips in behind for a layup. He was actually so hot in this game that Charlotte started trapping him at midcourt, so he slows down to relax the defense, then cuts right around him after passing.
That's crazy.
And nearly finishes this again in traffic before it's offensive goaltending.
Birdman.
James actually made his first 8 threes in this one, getting so comfortable that he foreshadowed some of the incredible long range he's used later in his career in LA. Back when he entered the league, LeBron actually struggled with his outside shot.
If you remember when he came out of high school, everybody was questioning whether this young man's going to be able to shoot the ball. If he can make
James from a below average shooter to an above average one. 17% of his career points have come from behind the arc. And as a
Nice.
Laker, that number has jumped to 25%, a shift that has helped him immensely in today's spaced-out shooting-heavy league.
That's light.
Here's something you'd hardly ever see in his salad days, sprinting to the line in transition to pop an early triple. And his outside shooting development wasn't just about threes. LeBron still mixes in mid-range shots to keep defenses on their toes.
Yeah.
And in his first 5 years in Cleveland, he made just 36% of his long twos. In Miami, he hit 42% of his twos outside 15 feet. Although around that time, the shot was slowly disappearing from the game, unlike control mid-ranger when needed. LeBron's even added to this in the last decade, mixing in a one-legged step back in these spots too. So in his first few seasons, LeBron's shot chart was splattered with long.
That's actually one of my favorite shots, that drive, especially for someone strong, right? This is a cheat. For someone who's strong, when you go to drive and you beat that person and they know they're faster than you, but you know you're stronger, when they hold you, when you're on their hip and they slide off you, you pound that 1 foot forwards and then you step back onto 1 foot instead of landing on two. It's like if you were to go for a layup, you'll take that one dribble, one step, and then the next step, and then lay it up. This way, you go backwards. It's kind of like you fake in, and then you come out, and then you'll get an open
and a
fade
bunch
jump
of
shot.
shots right at the basket. Then during his Heat years, he scored from more high-efficiency spots in the short mid-range, and finally in Los Angeles, he's dominated with a diet of threes and layups. That short-range effectiveness was a byproduct of the post-game he developed in Miami, where he used his size and strength with his back to the basket to carve out easier scoring opportunities.
Tough, man.
He also flashed his high post skills in this game, flowing from a triple threat position into a spin and then an amazing finish. And I think it's fitting his career high came in Miami, where he combined most of his younger explosiveness with the craft and shooting of those later seasons. LeBron still posts up occasionally today, going to an up and under move late in the Houston game, and they're reminders of just how long this basketball machine has been playing at his own pace and manipulating defenders. Take this spread pick and roll, where he waits for his screener to come flip the angle of the pick so he can go left, just to cross back to his right hand and explode for an and one. A decade later, it's the exact same thing, flipping the screen angle, but this time he keeps it in his left hand so it looks like he's going left, and that hesitation lets him slither back to the right and score. There's one more thing about all his scoring that really blows my mind. He's always been a great passer. LeBron is going to finish his career 4th in assists at worst, and it's amazing to me that someone so willing to hit the open man can still average 27 points per game across 2 decades. And it's only happened because James continued to evolve as a scorer, building off that raw athleticism in Cleveland, adding a post game while mastering his craft and tempo in Miami, and of course, developing his shot while learning every trick in the book over the last decade. So, after more than 2,000 three-point makes, 8,000 made free throws, and nearly 12,000 two-pointers, LeBron James is now officially the new scoring king of the NBA. You can get thinking basketball content in the NBA.
Yeah, no shit. I don't know this guy. So where is he? Thinking basketball. Shout out to this man, Thinking basketball. Oh fuck, I'm tripping balls. Yeah, it is Ben Taylor. Damn. What are the channels? Please go subscribe to this guy. That's so dope. Oh man, that's cool. Okay. That was a bit of a long-winded video, but I want to watch these. And I'll leave a link in the description down below if you made it this far. If you haven't, it's cool. It is what it is. But these things have been spamming my page, so I want to watch them, and I might as well record them while I do. Thank you so much. Dose.